was a great night for the Indiana Fever as they got the win over the Las Vegas Aces 80-70 on their home court without Caitlin Clark. And this was a game where they played very inspired in the second half, highlighted by a run that featured contributions from Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Erin McDonald, Kelsey Mitchell. Everyone kind of really just chipped in a way that really made them look like a team that they have not been through a lot of the season. There was a line from the commentary which had mentioned they were 4-7 in clutch situations throughout this year. And they define clutch as like a 5-point game with 5 minutes left to go. And, we've seen this team blow leads all season. And this was, a time where they were ripe for the pickings. Like, it seems like, I was going to come on here and say, well, the talent evens out, after, a long, time in the game. And eventually the better team wins out. But in, this case, they were able to hold on, and it was really cool to see the defensive identity of this team really kind of shine through and find ways to get those stops and make some big shots towards the end, and it go the Fever's way for once seemingly. They broke out their Stranger Things alts, which for my money are some of the hardest jerseys in sports. I think they started selling those as well, so you can probably get your hands on those for like $100 to $130. I think there's different coupon codes and stuff. In the first half, it was, pretty much all about the Aces. They were, living at the line. There was a lot of frustration, seemingly. We saw Steph White get a big tech saying that's bullshit to one of the referees. Thought that was pretty funny. But they came out and did something they really don't do, which was make halftime adjustments and find a way to close it out on the home floor with the big three-pointer at the end by Erin McDonald. Natasha Howard was like a one-woman unleashed version of herself, just wreaking havoc defensively and making all types of these swooping shots. And I believe she finished up the night with 18 and 13, which anytime you can do that, that's awesome. Those are great numbers in this league. The Las Vegas Aces, this is the second time they've defeated the Aces without Caitlin Clark. The Aces, for me, are just, a regular team with a great player at this point. I think, some of their players have seen their best days, and they have just not found a way to really impress me. A'ja Wilson's always going to get hers. Take nothing away from her, but everything around her seemingly is degrading and rapid speed. The last time that the Aces and the Fever played, I said these were two teams headed in two different directions. This Fever has a much higher ceiling than their current rank, and it feels like the Aces are either right where they're going to be or they could even go lower. So much frustration you could see on Becky Hammond's face. Caitlin Clark was celebrating, jumping up and down. I hope she didn't re-aggravate anything, and we'll talk about her injury update in just a little bit after we take a look at the box score and everything. But this is a fun game to watch. I thought that run in the third quarter, was some of the best basketball I think they've played this season. And if more games can get closed out like that, where it feels like, oh, there were adjustments made, there was inspired play in the second half, the team did not shit down their leg, in the last 5 minutes, I think Stephanie White will get less heat from the fan base, besides the people that just want her hit by a bus and, removed as the coach. Sophie Cunningham ended up getting the start, and it turned out to be the right decision. Her hot three-point shooting continued. I think she scored about 15 points, if I'm not mistaken, and Lexi Hull is, the other side of that, as she took her spot, and she scored 0 points, so she's gonna have to shoot herself out of it, or Sophie's gonna take her minutes, and she's gonna end up a bench player. But I think Lex is a huge part of the team, and if she can contribute between 8 and 11 points a game, I'd say a couple 3-pointers in stellar defense, that's going to be the ticket to success. If you can look down the roster and see like the fifth best person, and it's a great contribution from Lexi Hull. I thought Aliyah Boston's defense on A'ja Wilson down the stretch should get talked about. Forcing her into awkward positions and awkward shots as the Aces just looked frustrated down the stretch, and they had really no idea what to do, whether they were going to try to let Chelsea Gray get a fadeaway post-up shot. Jackie Young just bricked, a couple threes, and A'ja really didn't, present herself as the answer as well. Kelsey Mitchell kind of came into this game with a target on her back. Ended up scoring 21 points, but did not have her best shooting night, 8 of 24 from the field. Her family was posting, some stuff about Caitlin Clark. Didn't exactly see the whole message, but it was not flattering, and it's strange that the Indiana Fever continue to go through this, and, with family members of teammates posting weird things. I think all that stuff needs to get under control. It's stupid, and it also, it's almost like sabotage from within. So I don't necessarily blame Kelsey Mitchell for that, but that is hey, have a conversation and say, hey, why are you trying to make my job harder? That's all, she's really trying to essentially do by doing that, whether she knows it or not. She's not bigging up her sister. It's just making, her get looked at crazier by fans. It's making, unnecessary headlines. It's making drama that, there's enough drama around the WNBA that comes to this team without stirring it up internally. But yeah, man, let's take a look at the box score, and we'll go through the players. As I mentioned, Sophie Cunningham, 15 points, +7 for the night, 80%. If she's only taking 5 shots from the field and, hitting some free throws there, I think you might want to get Sophie some more shots, especially with the hot streak that she's been on. As I mentioned, Natasha Howard, 18 points, 13 boards, 6 of 9, and just a defensive terror. One of the best games I think she's played this season. Aliyah Boston, 6 of 18. You never want to see your big shoot under 40%, but she was a +15 from the floor, 13 and 10. +16 for Kelsey Mitchell, 21 points, and hit a few of the big shots when it was winning time. So you'll live with the percentages in a win. Erin McDonald has struggled of late and, hit a big shot late here. 9 points for her and 4 assists, +13 for the night. Good to see Ari get back on the ball. And, of course, the thing that most Indiana Fever fans want to see, Mikayla Timpson minutes. Quickly has established herself as a fan favorite. Saw 7 minutes of playing time tonight, and she was matched up a lot with Nalissa Smith, and Nalissa kind of struggled when guarded by Mikayla Timpson. Mikayla Timpson got some timely rebounds and challenged some shots, altered some looks, and checked out around 4 minutes remaining. And I think her contributions definitely stopped the Aces from, getting clean looks at the basket. So shouts out to Timpson. But the Aces, good Lord. Chelsea Gray, point guard where? 9 points, 4 assists, 3 of 9. In 32 minutes. Jewel Lloyd continues her rapid regression just to, only score 8 points, 7 shots for her. I don't know how anybody thought the Aces weren't going to miss a beat by trading out Kelsey Plum for Jewel Lloyd at this stage. Nalissa Smith, 10 and 10 for her on her second trip back to Indy. So when she plays well on that court, I'm sure she's happy about that. Asia Wilson, 20 points, only 6 boards, and kind of disappeared down the stretch. Wanted to see more from her, towards the end, but that's how it goes sometimes. And Jackie Young kind of led this team through much of the game until Asia kind of evened it out at the end there. But this team it seems very top heavy. There's not a lot of depth here, and even the people that are counted on for production between Jewel Lloyd and Chelsea Gray, you're getting a combined 17 points from both of them. It's not enough, like Kendra Lamar would say. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark up next. So Caitlin Clark, we got an update on her health status. So basically they said following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available. So what that just tells me is, we're glad that there's no additional injuries. We do not have a diagnosis on a time frame, which is absolutely frustrating. I won't hold you. But as far as there being nothing else new to worry about, I think that's, a good sign. And I'm going to leave it in the team and also Caitlin's team's hands to get Caitlin back at a time that makes her feel most comfortable and makes her feel like she's the player that she's supposed to be. Even if she's got to miss, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I say it's a gamble. And take your chances with this team, in her absence of holding up, around 500 or so. They're not going to win every game without her, but they're not going to lose every game without her either. So if they can just keep it afloat at a certain level and she comes back towards those playoffs, they can be a dangerous team. I don't expect much more information to come out regarding Caitlin Clark until she comes back and she's ready to jump back in the lineup. They're going to keep this thing well hidden, secretive. Stephanie White's not going to give us much. And, we will ask questions, and hopefully there's good reporting here to, figure out the information that we're looking for. But lock in. This is going to be the team that's going out there on a short-term basis. So it must be difficult to play on this team right now. It must be difficult to coach this team. You got two different lineups easily. At minimum, and then you have to account for how defenses play you with both. So you can never really get comfortable. So any win like this against the Aces is to be celebrated because the Aces are a talented team, even if they're struggling a little bit right now. So you got to get these wins where you can because you're going to protect yourself from nights where things go wrong, from blowouts, from nights where you just don't have the talent like the Liberty game. Stealing games like this with the Aces, teams that you can separate yourself from as they got the tiebreaker tonight, I think is going to be really valuable for this squad, going down the stretch. But what did you think about the game? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about Caitlin Clark with no real update as far as a return, but, good news that there was no further injuries or anything. Anyway, my name is Rich Latta. Peace. This is One Lifetime. Holla.